Yeah. Well, okay, so I just wanted to like kind of clarify the background, a little bit that you were telling me about, from how you got uh into taping, and you said you're from Manitowoc County, right?
Correct.
And then yeah, and then so you're talking about when you got into taping, you started out taping Grateful Dead shows and then moved into taping local bands as well in Manitowoc County, or was
Yes.
that kind of coincide? Okay, so what years about were those?
Oh God. I started probably in the mid 90s on cassette,
Okay.
and I was just practicing,
Hmm.
and I ended up just doing local musicians,
Okay.
and started going from there. And then actually, it was well, actually, my second wife who broke out of my shell because I
Okay.
started being a little, how do I say it? I was a little self conscious, insecure,
I get you.
and let's see here.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I just wanted to like kind of clarify the background,
That I was doing
No,
the whole
no,
thing
okay.
once in. And one day up at Somerset, Wisconsin, she broke me out of my shell, and we brought all my gear in there, and it was like heaven sent.
Oh
And
wow.
I've been doing it ever since.
So, Somerset was that what show is that?
Oh, Somerset, Wisconsin. It was it was Dylan and Further Festival,
Wow.
and that was the year that Joan Osborne showed up.
Okay. Wow.
So, God, let me take a look here.
And that was audio only. Just
That was
on
audio only. That was audio only. Let's take a look here. That would have been that I was doing
No,
the whole
no,
thing once
okay.
in. And one day up at Somerset, yeah, we got a nice little book here.
Oh, you got a book?
Yeah, it's my CD collection, and that would have been Somerset. I know I got it on. Or it would have been in the 90s. There we go. Somerset, Wisconsin, August 3rd, 2003.
Oh, 2003. Okay.
That would have been one of my first ones that I actually put on CD.
Oh, okay.
But before that, yeah, I was strictly all cassette, and then I transferred it to CD.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
then I went digital in 2005.
Digital in 2005.
Yeah.
And so how many CDs do you have in that collection then?
The jukebox holds 301, and I believe I have just a little over 200 in there.
Okay. And that's all your recordings.
No, it's
Okay.
stuff I traded and stuff I've accumulated and miscellaneous, but it's mostly all Grateful Dead. There's only a hand-picked a few because I actually have two jukeboxes, and one was my miscellaneous one, and one was dedicated for Grateful Dead, but then the other one crashed. So then I had to pick and choose and combine.
No, what? So it's like an actual jukebox?
Yes,
Wow. And but you put the CDs in yourself.
yes,
And it's all live shows.
yes.
Okay. That's great. That's
And I got it categorized by song, and CD number and track number. So if I want to sit here by myself in my room, I can pre-program songs that I want to listen to, but that only lasts like maybe two or three songs, and something else comes to my mind. I gotta hurry up and quick. That's why I got the book.
oh, that's great. Well, um,
And that wasn't an
how do
easy
you
job to do.
yeah. How do you get your hands on this jukebox?
It's made by Pioneer,
Okay.
and I got it. Oh God, somebody was selling it because they got it used, and it was an offer I couldn't refuse, and it's like a $300 machine for like $100. It's like, yeah, I'll take it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's affordable.
I had a 150 disc by Fisher that I used in the olden days, and that was really great. I ended up falling in love with the 301 because it was actually less mechanical,
Huh.
and that's what made the Fisher one crash because
Okay.
it was way too mechanical.
More
Nobody knew
things
how
to
to
go wrong.
nobody knew how to fix it. Even the place that I bought it from didn't know how to fix it.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's yeah, jukebox, man. I have not seen too many of those recently.
Yeah. So, like I said, I got 200 cassettes that are strictly Grateful Dead bootlegs,
Hmm.
and then I got 200 CDs, and plus, I don't know, I would have to say somewhere around 2008 or 9, I probably gave up putting it on CD and just left it on my hard drive on my computer. So that's for the last 11 years are
Okay.
just on my computer.
And
Yeah, we got a nice little book here.
oh, you got a book
Yeah, it's my
recordings. Like, how many shows would you say you've taped in those? I guess just since in those last 11 years or so, or maybe all together. How many shows do you think you've taped all together?
I couldn't even give you an answer on that, to be honest with you. Since I started, oh, here's what we can do.
Well, this year, okay, yeah.
No, this here
Oh,
is
sorry.
what we can do. This is another advantage of Live Music Archive.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to my channel right now, and it should tell me how many uploads I have. 404.
404. Wow, that's impressive.
Oh, I lost you. There we are. You're back.
Nice. So, man, over 400. That's yeah, okay. 404 uploads. That's really impressive. How many? So I'm thinking, I don't know if you watch the Packers that much, but Aaron Rodgers just threw his 400 touchdown pass.
Last week, yes, I think I heard something about that on the news. Yeah, I don't watch them that much anymore,
Hmm.
or the Packers that much anymore.
Hmm.
Normally, I'm working,
Mm.
and I just catch the highlights because otherwise I would have no nails left. I am already a nail biter. So after fourth quarter of a Packer game, you might just say that's null and void.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, no, I get you, man. Yeah, yeah. That's probably the best. That's me every game. You know, my roommates always find it really amusing how into the game I get.
Exactly. And like I said, I learned over the years that I just watched the fourth quarter,
Yeah,
the last few minutes. Andre is just like, "Rrr," and I'm throwing things like, I keep a roll of bundle socks just so I can get mad at the TV.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's
So,
yeah,
anyways,
yeah, yeah. That's great. Um, no, I don't know. I guess it's, but that's funny. You know, I guess it's kind of part of the part of the culture, this like this connect. I feel like a lot of the a lot of the bands and stuff, like Adam Grohl or whatever, right? He'll
mhm,
wear a Packers jersey during a show.
yep. Oh yeah, Packer backers. Wisconsin is pretty much dedicated to the Packers. I mean, I don't know anybody in Wisconsin who doesn't support them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. No, it's a
It's a given.
yeah. Recordings. Like, how many shows would you say you've taped? In those, I guess just okay. So over the years, 404 shows at least, right? That you've taped.
Since 2015, yes.
Since 2015.
Yes.
Okay, okay. That's pretty. Yeah, all right. That's quite a few. And I was wondering then, like which bands kind of stood out for you. I mean, obviously your go-to ones are Grateful Dead, right? But
Pretty much Dead and Company, yes. Geez. You mean localize?
yeah, yeah. Like which of the local bands?
Do I have a particular? I love all my music. So if I forget somebody, somebody might get upset.
Yeah.
But since I have so many, I don't know, I can narrow it down to a few, and also based on driving distance and
Mhm.
the time I have.
Yeah. So I guess
I really can't. I don't know how to answer that one.
mhm. maybe maybe I guess like over the years, which bands do you think that you've taped the most besides Dead and Company?
Tuck Pence would have to rank up there.
Mhm.
Burnt Toast and Jam. People Brothers Band. I think
So
I gotten dig deep down here a few times, so we might as well say, might as well add them to the collection.
well, yeah.
Um, Wheelhouse,
Okay.
and then yeah, another thing that makes it kind of difficult to answer too, because then I also catch the band members solo at
Mm,
certain gigs, you know, if they
mm,
play like in between their major gigs and scheduled dates, you know, they'll come play at a bar for a few $100 a night.
yeah. It's
Um,
Tug
so
Pence for sure is big with that.
yeah, so and then I also do Frank Bush from Wheelhouse, Nick Adamy from Wheelhouse, and then I do um, some Armchair Boogie. Actually, Denzel Connor from Armchair Boogie does a little collaboration with Frank Bush from Wheelhouse. And they do like Frank Bush and the Names during the off season, during the winter months. So I catch them a lot. Um, so it all varies on where I go in the winter.
Mm.
Oh, I really, like I said, I don't have a favorite, and I can't pick favorites, otherwise people get mad at me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess I uh, wasn't trying to put you into that situation, but that's some really
But
helpful stuff still. Thinking about
oh,
these
and I forgot about Chicken Wire Empire. Whenever I get to Milwaukee, I make sure I get a hold of Chicken Wire Empire.
yeah, I've seen those guys play. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I really I like their music a lot. They're
I've been
really solid.
following I've been following those guys. They were my Milwaukee, because I'm when I like I said I'm from Manitowoc, so when I would go down to Milwaukee, I'd actually go out of my way to see those guys. So I've been following them around since
Mhm.
oh God, 2002, 2003.
No, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I pretty much watched them grow from your age to their current age. I watched them grow up, and it's like, okay, you guys are little crazy kids here, but you know, they took it serious, and look at where they are today.
yeah. Yeah, they're doing really great. Yeah, I really enjoyed when I got to see them when they came up to Flat Rock a couple years ago. I remember that was a good show.
Oh,
Um,
I don't remember. Oh man, I didn't know they played up there.
yeah, and Farmer Jeans.
Yeah, I didn't know they played Flat Rock though.
Yeah, it was maybe 2015,
15?
2016.
Oh wow, I must have just missed them by a year or two.
Yeah, it was something like that. But they were there. Yeah. Those man, I really
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get me a soda.
well, do your thing, do your thing. Okay, okay. So over the years, 404 shows at least, right? That you've hey. Um so yeah, we're talking about yeah, some of these standard bands you've been following for, they've been taping for a while now. I guess like what do you feel like the relationship, how does that change, right? Between the bands, right? But from your first taping to, later on, as you taped them for a while.
Oh, Chicken Wire Empire is a perfect example of that. Like I said, I watched Ryan and Jordan. They used to be in a band called Steel and Strings.
Hmm.
And when I first met Ryan, he was playing at Moe's restaurant in downtown Milwaukee, right on Wisconsin Avenue, Wisconsin and 3rd, I think it was, right by the Riverside.
Hmm.
And that's the Riverside Theater for people that are kind of like, listen to this later. And he was playing there. And of course, I had a Grateful Dead tie dye on, so that kind of like gave it away. And actually, I was down there eating, and I went to another place, the Milwaukee Ale House, to catch a band. And it was just way too loud and distorted. It's like, the heck with this, I'm leaving. And we went back to Moe's, and Ryan and the keyboardist, I think it was Mark, yes, it was Mark Bellini, they were playing. And he saw my tie dye shirt on for a while, and he gave me a Grateful Dead tune. I think it was Friend of the Devil, I think.
Okay.
And I've been following them. But then he introduced me to Steel and Strings, which was Ryan's band, and Ryan and Jordan's original band. And I've been taping them, and they would actually kidnap me and take me to places. I moved them
Oh,
around.
that's great.
Oh, you got a cat too?
Oh, that's a dog. He's just
Oh, wait, he's up. I thought it was a cat.
yeah, yeah, he's very, very fast. But yeah, I
So,
it's really fun.
so then watching them grow up,
Uh-huh.
you know, because I met them during my limbo years after Jerry Garcia died, and nobody knew what the Grateful Dead world was going to be like in those days.
Hmm.
And I ended up following Steel and Strings, and I still follow them, but now I follow them under Chicken Wire Empire. And like I said, now watching them grow up, I wow, I'm amazed. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. So I'm glad I had a part of it, and I got it documented in my way.
Yeah, that's great, and to have somebody around, maybe if they make a documentary about their musical career, right? A lot of you have that stuff. I feel like not very many people, I don't think a lot of other time, a lot of those times I would imagine nobody else is taping the show, right?
Um, Me and my doctor friend, my mentor, were probably the only ones that actually taped the old Steel and String shows.
Nice.
So yeah, we were probably the only two tapers that I'm aware of.
But your friend would also tape.
Yep.
Okay. Huh. That's hey. Um. So yeah, we're talking about yeah, that guy seems like a really influential person for sure. And that's
He
nice
was
that they
actually.
exist. Hmm?
He was actually.
I,
And being, you know how it is, being in rural Wisconsin, in a rural neighborhood, and you're the only one doing the thing that you're interested in doing. And so once or twice a year, I would catch him in Milwaukee. So trying to do our thing and then try to communicate in a loud venue is like, this is kind of hard to do, but it took some while. and I didn't know the proper terminology of certain things. And it's like, okay, so I couldn't shop for gear if I didn't know what I was shopping for.
Mm.
So he was very influential. He was very influential.
And he wasn't just into the Grateful Dead stuff. He was into these local bands like Chicken Wire Empire.
He did that, and then he's actually one of the Telluride tapers. So he goes to the Telluride Bluegrass Festival every year in August in
Oh,
California.
okay.
So that's where he hangs out. That's where he hangs out. Because now that we're older, he's in his 60s, I'm in my 50s. Sometimes we don't want to deal with the big crowd, or if we're going to do it in a big crowd, we want to make sure we're secure. We don't need any extra drama and so on and so forth. So we try to make it easy as possible. So we kind of narrow it down now that we're getting older. We pick and choose.
Yeah, that guy seems like a really influential person. I get that. Can you tell me a little bit about this drama? What do you mean by that?
With drama, with the
Um,
crowds and going to the bigger venues.
yeah.
Well, this is going to require a cigarette. It's like when I told you earlier in the interview about going to Somerset, Wisconsin, and catching them in 2003.
Mhm.
We were going to like a smaller amphitheater kind of a scene, and I walked in there. They just let me on in, and I didn't want to bother anybody, so I just stood up on the hill, because that's all we had were lawn tickets. So I just figured we'd stay there. Nobody's gonna yell.
Mm.
And guys pointed down to me and said, "They got a taper section down over here. Just go down there." I walked down there. Nobody said nothing. They just let me on in, and I was at home. You can go into venues like, say, nowadays, 20, almost 10, 15, 20 years later,
Mhm.
I'm going to Wrigley Field,
Mhm.
and now my tripod that I mount my microphones are considered a weapon, and they won't let me bring it in.
Wow.
So when I say taper drama, I'm going to get security that's going to say this is banned, this is a weapon, you can't bring this into the venue. Let alone how can you bring this in? Our policies state no recording or video equipment allowed. Like talk to the band, that kind of drama, and then you get to the crowd itself. They don't know what we're doing. They don't care. The people behind you just want to go up front.
Mhm.
So you gotta watch your stuff. You gotta watch your gear so nobody tramples it over.
Mhm.
Number four, you get that person that just sees the microphone and just has to talk right in front of it. So there's all kinds of drama. So which drama do you want to go into?
Well,
You got security at the venue. You got sometimes you may have a band problem where they don't know that you're taping.
no.
Are you going to? Like I said, I know that the band is taper friendly, but they didn't want you there at that moment in time because they're doing something else.
Mhm.
There's plenty of situations, and plus with the copyrights and stuff like that, you can cross a fine line. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by taper drama.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm sure that you could, go on about any of those topics, right?
We
Um,
all have a tail.
yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, maybe what's I get that. What's a good example then? Of crowd drama, right? Like people standing too close to the mic or something like that. Like how do you find that balance of, giving people, their spot to dance and stuff, but also getting your spot to do the taping.
Well, that's actually not a problem to a degree because what I do, if anything, I take one extra spot. If I'm in a little venue where the seats are,
Uh
I
huh.
may take an extra spot. And most times people are okay with that,
Mhm.
or I try to keep it. I normally go with somebody else if I can, because I always like to have a bodyguard. Someone's like gotta watch so I can go to the bathroom and maybe get a drink or smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
And so one of us can always go. So I can always put the stand right in front of the two seats. That's not a problem. Then everything else can sit on my lap if I have to. I do my best to keep myself to a minimum cramped up in a space like this, so everybody else has freedom. I just respectfully request the same in return. Sometimes I don't get it, sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But crowd noise and all that, my rule of thumb is, since I'm using my Sennheiser or shotgun microphones,
Mhm.
I always keep a rule of 1.5 to 2 feet higher than the tallest person in the crowd. That eliminates 50% of my crowd chatter right there.
That
So,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. I can understand that now. Yeah, because it can be really difficult to, yeah. What's a good example then? Of
especially if you go into a side of a small bar
uh,
and everybody's talking, I don't even know how the band can concentrate on carrying their tune because everybody's talking and nobody's really listening. They all think they're listening, but they all got to talk to their friend louder than what the music's playing. That always irritates me. And most people don't realize that. And when you hear the recordings later on, you pick that out. And it's like, really? The crowd is just way too loud. Can't you do something else? And a lot of people don't realize that they're doing that. And actually, I used to be selfish and get mad at people just for that reason. But years down the road, to me, it's almost like disrespectful to the band itself.
mm,
You're listening to the music, you paid money to get in, but yet you're going to talk louder than the band the whole time. Don't you want to remember what you listen to? You know what I mean? But that's how people are. That's how people are.
yeah,
You can't yell at them for that.
yeah. Well, and it's tough, yeah, because a lot of times, even people who are well-meaning and want to listen to the band, right? If they have their friends there, they're going to be talking somewhat, and then yeah. But
And
I think
I do
like
the same thing, but I
yeah,
make sure I go behind my microphone so that my microphones don't pick it up.
yeah, yeah.
And I kind of talk on the side of my breath a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. But I mean, it is. I I can totally understand your struggle there too. But that's a nifty technique of just hoisting the microphone high up, so you don't have to deal with that. Um. So you
Especially
know.
if you go into a side of a small bar.
So yeah. How about what other like what kind of examples would you give of like um of some of the different like technical difficulties that you've run into with bands like what's the difference between because you've had to do like outdoor festivals, right, and then these small bar bar shows, right, like what kind of issues do you run into with that?
With what? Within the bar or within the big venue? What?
Yeah, like how do you adapt your mixing, because you said you do a lot of pre-mixing, and mixing in the field, right? How do you adapt that to the different settings?
Well, good question, actually. Good question. Um, I experimented a while back. I think it was when I was living in Milwaukee. I was at a small venue,
Hmm.
and I was always using a corduroy pattern microphone, thinking because people always told me that would be appropriate. And one night, I mean, I was doing this for a few weeks, and it was just like way too echoey and crowd, and it was overbearing on the band.
Mm.
And I experimented one time, and I used my shotgun microphones, and it went right straight in. It grabbed what was coming out of the speakers only, and I just got a little bit of faint crowd noise off to the side.
So,
Uh,
sorry, can you say that one more time? You switched from the cardioid microphones to the
Shotgun microphone,
shotgun microphones. Yeah, sorry.
and that gave me a directional pattern right straight into the speaker, and that cut out 50% of my crowd noise. Um, a lot of people told me when they saw that at first that it was like overkill. And I was like, I thought about it, and then when I put the gave my headphones, they actually agreed and said it actually sounded better. So that was one way, and that's why I also have my alternate microphone where I can adjust the polar patterns to dual cardioid, or I can do a multiple figure eight, or I can set it up as an omnidirectional. That's where that would play in feature as well. And sometimes at a smaller venue, I do have the option of going into a soundboard, even though I don't like doing that too much.
Hmm. So yeah, how about why don't you like the soundboard?
Um, for one, it makes it too easier. And sometimes then I gotta patch in, and sometimes I have to be close to the soundboard. And sometimes I'm not in certain venues. So that kind of makes it difficult. And, excuse me,
Yeah.
sound man can be very, very picky, just like a taper.
Mm.
If something shorts out on your board, the taper is going to be the one that gets the first point. So, in that sense, I try to avoid them as much as possible. I mean, I'm friends with them, but I try not to ask. And some people say, well, come on in, patch. And then sometimes I don't have my patch cables with me because I'm not used to it. Um, so, there's multiple ways of doing that in a small venue. And trust me, the bigger venues can also be a pain in the butt too,
Mm.
because they can be really too loud.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the bigger indoor ones, they can be really, especially with the huge crowd size, they can be extremely loud too. So you got to be prepared to turn everything down to a lower level and then boost it up when you get home.
Yeah, I think you'd mentioned that a little bit in our last interview too about
I think I did.
getting too loud, and that's not something that you think about with I guess does this mainly happen with the more like electrified bands that you cover, or does it
Yeah.
actually?
Yes, mostly the electric bands that would happen too.
Okay, but I mean, does it happen? Have you seen it happen with the more acoustic bands? Why don't you like the soundboard?
Um,
Armchair Boogie, those guys, yeah, they're another kind of up and coming band, and you talked a little bit about with those guys specifically, like helping to kind of promote them a little bit. What were you talking about with that?
yeah, I say that in a jokingly way because nobody knows for sure, but
Sure.
um, um, they were starting out. I think they weren't. I didn't hear them for my first time at Jack Pine. I don't think. I think it was more so at Little Stock
Okay.
or Little Creek. Yeah, it would
Okay.
have been Little Creek in those days. And the one that Randy puts on in October for the FFA in Manawa,
Oh.
the FFA Aluminum Bash, Alumni Bash, um, at Bear Lake in Manawa, Wisconsin. He does that in mid-October.
Oh, okay.
That's where I ran into Armchair Boogie probably my first few times. And they were just starting out.
Uh-huh.
And now they became quite popular and they do almost every festival. And then they ended up coming down here, down at the Driftless Music Gardens, and
Okay.
I'm not sure if they played a jam for jam. No, I don't think they did.
Mhm.
And
Ridiculous music art and stuff.
yes,
Armchair Boogie, those guys, yeah, they're another kind of up and coming band, and you talked a little bit about, with those guys specifically, like helping to
and that's another topic that you should ask me about too. Um,
because yeah,
because
you mentioned
for years it was how do I say it? We were distance wise, southern up until less than 10 years ago, I would have to say the festivals around here, most musicians stayed in the southern region, except for maybe a few.
Mhm,
And if you hung out with, like at Jack Pine, for example,
mhm,
they didn't know some of my Milwaukee friend musicians. They didn't know about Chicken Wire Empire, Steel and Strings until about maybe 5, 6 years ago.
mhm,
And Jordan did an appearance up there with Colin O'Brien one summer or
mm,
1 year. And then I think Jordan came up there once. And then what happened, it seemed like Horseshoes was coming down towards Driftless Music Gardens. Last year, People Brothers Band from Driftless Music Gardens played at Jack Pine. Before that, before 2015, 2014, I noticed in my world that most musicians didn't interact between the northern part of Wisconsin and the southern half. And now, in the last 5 years, I've noticed that they're starting to intermingle. Like People Brothers Band will come up to Jack Pine. I'm hoping to see Sloppy Joe come down on a Saturday night and play at the Driftless Music Gardens one summer. I'm waiting to see that happen. I mean, I've seen Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. I've seen, Armchair Boogie, but then Armchair Boogie, they're also based out of Madison. They all went to college in Stevens Point and Madison. They intermingled, and
mm.
they're now they got their audience, and so that plays a part. But
See,
I
sorry,
go ahead, and that's another topic that you should ask me about too. Um,
because yeah,
because
you mentioned
for years it was
um, I'm totally guilty of this as a Merrill kid. I don't know the People Brothers band, really. And even Chicken Wire Empire, right? I kind of seen them that maybe once or twice, but I'm not super familiar with them like I am with Sloppy Joe and Horseshoes.
see what I mean?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
Brickhouse and Jam and Tuck Pence for sure.
but because I mean, I'm just as guilty as everybody else. It's like, okay, we don't mind driving 2 hours, but remember, we're gonna drive back 2 hours with a hangover after 3 days. And it's like, oh. So most people think, well, I really don't want to drive that far. So if you keep it, and I'm just as guilty. I'm just as guilty. But now over the years, I devote to this festival and that festival. So I know I'm going to be driving 2.5 hours.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't want to do that, especially after they've been partying for 3 days. They get burnt out. Now I gotta drive 3 hours. That's a long way home.
Yeah,
Why even go? So yeah, it's a mentality that most people have, and that's fine.
it
There's nothing wrong with that, but and that's why it was like held back for years. And just like I said, in the last few years, I just seen where the South is meeting the North, and we're just talking Wisconsin, not the North and the, North and the South in the Civil War. Okay, I guess I'm too old again, but I've noticed that in the last 5 years how that intermingled, and I enjoy that quite well.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. It's good that there's a thriving scene of great young musicians just playing excellent bluegrass and and it's great that yeah, people in Madison and Milwaukee and other areas are getting more exposure to some of the Northwoods bands, and likewise the other way around. So yeah, but it's interesting. Driving distance really does mean a lot in that equation. I totally agree with that as well. Um,
We're all guilty of that.
yeah. I was gonna say my friend. I've got a good friend though, and he'll drive to Melon Jam. I don't know if you've ever been to that one.
No, because that in itself, time of year, and now I gotta drive way up here. We're talking a 6, 8 hour drive.
Yeah,
I barely do that for Grateful Dead nowadays.
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Barely, but I only do that once a year for them.
Yeah. So no, my friend, he's from Milwaukee, right? And he'll drive all the way up to Mellon, and it's 8 or 9 hours, and wow, man, just really that's some dedication there, but not a whole lot of people are doing that. Um,
Well, and I strike it funny too because um, for Jack Pine,
mhm,
for me living down here now, it's 2.5, 3 hour drive to go to
mhm,
Jack Pine.
mhm,
And I have a friend, I call him my grandson, just a private joke. Um, he lives in St. Paul, and he goes down to McHenry, Illinois, I think,
mhm.
for summer camp. I believe that's the
Okay.
festival he goes to.
Okay.
And, I looked at it, I was like, why don't I go there? It's only an hour and a half drive for me, and you go to Jack Pine, 'cause it's only about maybe an hour and a half for you. Well, I've been going to this one for years, so no, I'm treated good here. I'm going here. So it's weird because like I said, he's got to come south. He goes all the way down to Illinois, and I gotta go way up to Jack Pine, where it's like one day, one summer, we might be able to meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. I Yeah, it is interesting the routes that you have to take to get to the festivals, right? And
Yes, and whoever's listening to this or going to be listening to this later on, it's a most enjoyable scenic route. I mean, because a lot of times you got to take back highways and not the interstate. So that plays a part in it too. So you got to be in for it, just like a Grateful Dead tour. You got to be in it for the ride and the show, because the ride is half the fun of
yeah,
getting there. And
um, I'm totally guilty of this as a Merrill kid. I don't know the People Brothers.
I remember one year going to Flat Rock.
Mhm.
Now, you always bring up Flat Rock. I don't know what had happened. I didn't know the camper, I didn't know the person, but this big semi tow truck comes pulling in a big camper one Friday afternoon. And the guy must have broken down on the freeway. Instead of worrying about his finances and how he's going to get his truck repaired and this, he had the tow truck driver bring that trailer that he's going to camp in for 3 days and camp there. They parked the trailer, they camped, then they got the tow truck to come back and go get the truck fixed. So it had to be a couple grand, so that festival had to have been worth it.
Yep, that sounds just very believable given what I know about Flat Rock and the people who go there. And
Yeah,
that
I would
was
say that would have been 2016 or 2017. No, 2016.
okay. Yeah,
I remember one year going to Flat Rock.
it's man, and yeah, it's great. I don't care for the location as much as previous places that they have it at. They used to have it at the Fun Fest grounds, but now that's kind of way too expensive. And then now, yeah, at Farmer Jean's, it's all right there, but it's kind of the the camp security and cops are just a little bit like more nosy than I've really ever seen at any like bluegrass venue.
Oh, I didn't even know they had cops there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some funny stories. I don't know. Yeah. There's some. Yeah. I mean, some funny stories and then some. Yep. Annoying story. They actually they
See?
busted one of the bands. Uh, you know, they had them. You know, spill out all their stuff or whatever into the fire.
They went into one of the bands and what?
Campsite. They wanted to do a campsite at one of the bands, and they were like, "Oh, we're smelling weed here," and they had them, burn up all their stuff or whatever. So
Oh
not
man.
not good, not a good situation. But I guess it happens. Not the first time in history. Um,
Well, I'll smoke one for them.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, might be a good idea, honestly. Um, Yeah. Let's see here. We got it's man, and yeah, it's great. I don't care for the location.
When's your project due?
The project is officially due next next Friday. So
Oh boy.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'll have to, just do a quick write up about this, and then, edit the audio into, between these two conversations. Pick out some of the best parts into, you know, sort of a shorter, abridged version.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
it'll be
can
exciting, huh?
you can send me the audio of this again too
Oh, oh, yes,
when
yeah,
we're
we'll
done.
do, of course. Yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
on with the show.
yeah.
When's your project due?
The project, yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask. So you were talking, and yeah, this kind of comes out just throughout the conversation, of course. But you were talking yesterday about like taping as an addiction, and what does that kind of mean for you?
Oh, like I explained earlier, I get mad at myself if I'm at a show and not recording and the show's really good. I get mad at myself. It's like, why didn't I bring my gear?
Mm,
And if someone tells me that I can't record and I gotta bring my, I could stay and stay, but I can't record, and it's like, well, I'm gonna get mad at myself because no, it turned out to be a good show. So I don't like it. I don't want to hear what I can't record. And if I don't, like if I went to a bar with a friend and I didn't have my gear because I wasn't prepared, I don't want to stay for the music. I sit there and go, or I could have recorded this, or and then there's other times it's like, phew, I'm grateful I did it.
yeah. Okay. That's
So
very.
I don't like leaving home without it.
And when did you kind of realize, like taping going from something you were starting out trying to do versus something that you needed to do?
When I went digital, and well, actually, after I went digital, I realized I needed to do it.
Wow.
Um, and then after I started sharing in 2015,
Mhm.
and now I feel obsessed. Where I gotta, it's like I know somebody else wants to hear this, and I know there's people following me now, and oh yeah, it's Geez, I don't even know where to go on that.
Well, that's okay. That's really helpful. And yeah. I was gonna ask. Yeah, so kind of getting the subscribers and followers right. That was a part of it.
No, I wasn't really worried about them
Mhm,
as subscribers, but I knew other people actually wanted to listen
mhm.
and actually see it and hear it.
Yeah.
And I try to do the best I can because I know from what, I don't know, I became more anal, OCD.
Hmm.
Now that I become sharing or started sharing my music, I became more OCD.
Hmm.
Before it was a little bit more relaxed,
Mhm.
and not so stressful because I was just worrying about me, not everybody else. And actually, I think I probably lost a couple of good old friends because of that. They won't go to a concert with me.
Oh, really?
I think I lost two old friends when I go to Dead and Company. Now it's like they want to stay and party. They don't want to deal with the hassle. They just want to go in, have a
Mhm.
few drinks, enjoy their buzz, and listen to the music. And it's like they don't want to be tied down to me. They don't want the hassle that I gotta go with. So it's like, well, can't you just come to the show and just leave your stuff at home? But no, I got people that would get mad at me if I did. And plus, I don't want to.
Yeah. That's really interesting, man. I mean, sorry to hear that, some of your friends uh didn't want to deal with that, but I guess it happens.
No, that's understandable. That's fine. One friend, um, he would go down on his area, but then he would come back and check up on me.
Mm.
And now that he knows that I'm okay or something like that, then I'll see him after the show. And the only thing I ask is somebody to sit close to me so I can actually go to the bathroom. Come check on me so I can take a piss or something,
Yeah.
or bring me a beer later.
That's also important. Yeah.
Just come check on me and separate. I'm good.
Yeah.
But, I just ask about that. Otherwise, if I go alone, well, then I have to have somebody next to me. It's like, dude, I'm taping and I'll give you the link when I'm done. If you can go watch this while I go get a beer.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Then you kind of need help from people to because you don't want to have to you can't just tear down the whole setup and then bring it into the bathroom with you or whatever. Um, but I guess are there any venues where you're you would feel comfortable to step away from your equipment for a few moments?
Yes. Like at Dead and Company, for example, if there's other tapers there,
Uh huh.
then we watch over each other. Then it's okay,
Gotcha.
but if we're like, say, if we're at Alpine Valley or some amphitheater somewhere, there's going to be a few of us together. So then it's easier to escape. Um, but if you're at a venue, say a bar, and you're by yourself, I have to be ingenious on how I do that
Mm.
because I can come in there with my big backpack, and put it right up there on the table. Well, one of two things can happen, man. One, the venue's gonna get mad at me because now I'm taking up two or three spots at their table where they're losing customers now that want to sit down, so they can actually get mad at me.
Mm.
Number two, I can go to the bathroom and have it all set up there, and
Yeah, so kind of getting the subscribers and followers right. That
which had happened to me in Milwaukee. I went and stepped out and I had a quick smoke. I purposely filled up my drink before I left and put it right by my gear. Because no waitress is going to empty out a full beer unless it's been sitting there for a long time. But I'm only going to be gone 5 minutes. But I came back after my cigarette. That beer was gone, and this guy was moving all my gear around. My recorder I had just tucked away on the corner of the party bar. He was
Wow.
moving it away. I actually had to identify each piece of equipment for about a minute and a half. And I said, dude, I don't have to do this. What the fuck are you doing? And I had to use the F word twice.
Wow.
He wanted that party bar so he could entertain 3 chicks. It's like, dude, you could have just let me have that corner and you could have had the rest of the table, but now you got to be a dickhead.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Wow.
What's best? Which has happened to me in Milwaukee. I went and stepped out and I had a
So that's another, yeah, another one of these crowd interactions kind of.
yes. You got so if I'm discreet, I have one bar here in the Dells. I always go to the Showboat Saloon. So if anybody's listening, the Showboat Saloon, and there it's real easy. I got my own spot. Security knows me, and I put my microphones like 10 feet up on a pole that hangs there, like a water pole, a water pipe.
Huh.
And I clamp onto that, so all I have my little tiny recorder and a battery pack, and I put everything else on the floor, and it just sits right there. So I'm only taking up one spot. And there, nobody's even knowing that I'm recording unless they look up and they see my little lights flashing. So there, I'm discreet and I'm cool. Um, Other venues, I do have to be, like I said, ingenious
Yeah.
and creative.
Oh, that's really really helpful. All right. Um, so that's another, yeah, another one of these crowd interactions kind of. Don't have too much more time here, but I wanted to ask a little bit about, like, yeah, just some of the interaction, right, with your subscribers and stuff, the people who are kind of watching your content. What is that kind of relationship like, and how has it changed?
With my followers on YouTube,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Because when I started on YouTube and I started doing the full sets and everything of the bands, I only had 30 subscribers. And
Okay.
I know there's over 1,000 people. Even to this day, I know there's over 1,000 people.
Mhm.
Because if you look at it, everybody at the festival knows me by now. They all they
Yeah.
have all seen my content. I think only maybe 100 actually subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Only 100. I'm going to guesstimate only about 100. I could possibly say about two, maybe. No. But the
Yeah.
other four, um, anyways, back then,
Mhm.
all I needed was 100 subscribers, and I would have my own channel name. When I would give somebody my address, I can put in Taper John and be a hyperlink.
Mm.
But before, like, say, if you were under 100 subscribers, you had that channel ID number, and it was just like, how do I tell people to share this? You know, they need to remember this.
Yeah.
And so I put all the thing on Facebook. I kind of networked a little bit and spread the word. I need 100 subscribers. Subscribe to this damn channel. And I got it. It took maybe a week. I even had a librarian, Lynn Owens from Jack Pine, you probably might know her.
Okay.
She actually put it on the library's Facebook page, and I instantly got like 60, 70 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
About a year or so later, YouTube changed it where you needed 1,000 subscribers for certain other features and to get monetized. I was monetized for a short period of time.
Mm.
And, well, I wasn't making any money though, because I was just starting out. And so then I put out a request because I wanted to enable certain features when I got to 1,000 subscribers.
Mm.
And I put it out somewhere that I needed 1,000. I mean, that YouTube was changing their policies, this, that, and everything. I put it out somewhere. And this is going to be funny. You're going to like this.
Yeah.
So one of my connections, one of my followers, actually told Forrest George from, which is Lowell George's son from Little Feat.
Oh, no.
And at that time, I didn't even pay attention on who the name was.
Yeah.
He made a comment on Facebook himself, and within 2 days, I had 300 and some odd subscribers. So I went from 100 to like 360 something within 48 hours.
Nice.
And the word kind of spread from that. And now I get a couple subscribers here and there from certain band followers.
Mhm.
But then when I don't do their band for a while, then they unsubscribe.
Ah,
And I can't just pick and choose one band. So I'm not in it for the subscribers. I'm in it for the followers. And I'm pretty happy that I got up to like 617, I think it is now on YouTube. And
yeah.
so I gained 300 or 250 just from doing certain bands, and they like what I'm doing. And
Don't have too much more time here, but I wanted to ask a little bit about like, yeah, just some.
actually, when I do my Wake and Bake program on Saturday mornings,
Uh,
I I forget where we met. I think he met me in person somewhere.
yeah.
But I got a guy down in Texas. He listens to me every Saturday morning, broadcasting something from the archive, live music archive. We'll pick a band
Okay.
and I'll stream it on YouTube every Saturday morning. I call it my Wake and Bake.
Yeah.
And he's been following me now for at least a good 8 months. And I'm giving him good Wisconsin music down in Texas.
That's great. Oh, that's really great. I'm glad. I feel like, and there's some Texas Wisconsin connection. Um, if do you know the Urban Pioneers?
Why does that name ring a bell to me?
They've been playing at more and more shows up north. They've been playing at they played at Wet Rock most recently. Really fun band. They kind of do like a Western swing style more than bluegrass specifically, right?
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, they're real fun. Um, yeah, and
I'm thinking this guy might have me familiar with Midnight River Choir. I can't say for sure, but I'm thinking that might be the one. And that's where he came into picture, I think. I could be wrong. I could be getting him mixed up.
Midnight River Choir. Okay.
Midnight River Choir.
Huh. Yeah. Well,
Actually, when I do my Wake and Bake program on Saturday mornings,
do you start the Wake and Bake?
Whenever I get up on Saturday mornings.
All right, cool. I'll
It's
keep that.
normally the last few weeks I've been getting up early because I want to get stuff done because it was nice out, up here.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't care. And some mornings I stay up late on Friday nights and it's like, so I somewhere between 7 and 9 in Central Standard Time.
Okay, cool. That'll be right around when I wake up over here. So yeah, I'll take.
And
Do you start the wake and bake?
whenever I get up on Saturday, what's funny about that
Yeah.
is that I have a few people
Oh.
who actually just let the music play, like it's a radio station, and they
Yeah.
go clean their house. I think somebody up in, I think Jason up in Eagle River once in a while pops in
Yeah.
and just does stuff out in his garage before he goes and does his outdoor activities. So he works in the man cave while he listens to music. And I got one lady up in the Sierra Nevadas in California.
Oh, okay.
She cleans her house.
Ah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
really
yeah, so it's like my own radio show on Saturday mornings.
the wake and bake program. When did you start that?
Actually, I just celebrated 52 weeks about two,
Oh,
3 weeks ago, so just a little over a year.
wow.
I was playing around with another OBS StreamYard last summer, and so I had a couple other different programs, but I didn't have too much of a turnout on that. So, and it was supposed to be interactive, but nobody else wanted to interact, so I just said to heck with it. But Wake and Bake always seemed to be steady, and I think sometimes what happens there, the East Coast people will stop in before the Little Feet show starts, and on the West Coast.
Oh,
So I think I have a few followers from that
okay.
show, and then once the Little Feast show comes on at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, then a lot of them leave as well.
Yeah.
But then I get a lot of my views on the Wake and Bake show on the replays. People always come back and check it out later.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
And
Well, all right. Yeah, I really, yeah, really appreciate it, John. That's
what's funny about that
yeah.
is that, and then on that note, before you say goodbye, I might as well throw this in there too,
Please.
since I did that. To all the Jack Piners, this last Labor Day, when we were all restricted and staying at home, I can't believe my watch time. It skyrocketed in that Labor Day weekend. It skyrocketed.
Oh,
I must have went up like 20 or 40 hours, I think, in watch
wow.
time hours because everybody was doing their own personal virtual Jack Pine. They were all replaying my Jack Pine shows Labor Day weekend. It was like, wow.
Yeah, that's great. I oh man, that's okay, that's actually yeah, so because let's just clarify this then.
And then on that note, before you say goodbye, I might as well throw this in there too,
Please.
since I did that.
When Jack Pine didn't happen virtually or didn't happen in real life, right?
Time, no?
Yeah, they couldn't have that. So then people were watching your videos.
Yes, and I know of a few people. I don't know their names off the top of my head at the moment, but I do remember seeing their Facebook posts where they're actually going to have a watch party on Facebook and stream my Jack Pine videos
Yeah,
with their
that's
family.
wow.
You know how everybody gets in their little cliques at Jack Pine? I guess that's what a few of them did virtually this year.
Yeah. Wow. I man,
I kind of smiled and blushed on that one a little bit. It's like, oh.
Well, if anything, it shows the value of your work. That's, I mean, that's just right there. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I My head didn't swell with a big ego, but at least I appreciated it. And I appreciate the people kind of understanding why I do what I do.
Mhm. Yeah, man, that, yeah, it means a lot.
That made me feel good.
That's just really, really, yeah, great story. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. With um, that you're able to provide, yeah, some good Jack Pine memories for people.
Now, maybe some of the people in the crowd will understand why I'm so anal because now you got a better quality and not some guy who won't like this all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, John. I really, yeah, I really appreciate it.
All right, not a problem. My pleasure.
When Jack Pine didn't happen virtually.
So, am I going to get an edited version of all this and see what you put on for your for your project?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll send you this unedited file, and then whatever I end up kind of piecing together, I'll send you that one as well.
Cool. And then I also want to know what your grade, what you got for a grade.
Yeah, yeah. I'll let you know. Yeah.
And
Well,
I
really,
hope you get an A plus.
yeah. Well, it's, yeah. The professor seemed excited. I played a little clip of our last talk from Monday. I played that in my class on Tuesday. Um,
Really, you played it in class?
Still, yeah, a little, just a little clip from it. Yeah. Kind of when you were getting into a little bit of the technical stuff, we played that for some of the people there. They seemed to appreciate it.
Really? Well, that's cool. And what college was this again?
Oh, Indiana University in Bloomington.
Bloomington. So, am I going to get an edited version of all this and see what you? Is that near Kentucky? No,
Oh,
it's not. It is?
yeah, it's in the southern part of the state, right? So it's, we're not quite that close, but like a little bit close. So, and just next to, now next county over is Brown County, and that's where Phil Monroe, he has the small
Okay.
business blossom area. He liked it there because it was a lot like Kentucky. There's good fox hunting apparently. So yeah, there's a lot of, the southern Indiana is kind of similar to Kentucky. It's not like the boring part of Indiana. So
So I think Tabor Payne
okay.
lives in Louisville.
Okay.
I should have him. You two connect.
No, yeah, yeah. If he's ever in Bloomington for a show or something like that.
Yeah, since that's only a hop, skip, and a jump, and it's only about a 2 hour drive for you to him, then me 6 to 8 hours for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully, yeah, I'll be up in Wisconsin. Hopefully next summer they'll have festivals again. That would be crazy, but if that can happen, it'd be great. Um,
Is that near Kentucky? No,
oh,
it's not. It is?
yeah, it's that. Yeah. In that case, I definitely see you.
According to my doctor friend,
Mhm.
uh, he said, quote, in a text message,
Mhm.
vaccines in June and festivals by fall. So pretty much, in his opinion, summer is out, but you might catch something for Labor Day. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can do Jack Pine at least.
Yeah. Well, that would be, man. That would be crazy if we can do Jack Pine. Anyway, yeah. If I, yeah, I'd love to see you there, man, or maybe some other time, some other place. But but anyway,
Our roads will connect someday.
oh yes, for sure. Well, for sure tomorrow morning I'll try to sneak onto that wake and bake, huh?
Okay, cool.
All right, man. That I